Hello, in this video we will talk about masks, how they work and what they're used for. Compare masks in 3D LUT Creator with masks in Photoshop. To begin with, I will explain what a mask is on example. I have a photo opened in Photoshop. I'll create an adjustment layer with curves and try to make the background colder. As we see, the skin also became colder. I use a mask to exclude the effect of the curves layer on some parts of the image. The mask is automatically created with the adjustment layer. And as you can see, it is white now. I can use the black brush and paint on the mask. And in the places where the mask is black, the adjustment will be cancelled. I'll draw through all the skin. The curves make the image colder in those places where the mask remains white. This way, the mask in Photoshop allows you to apply various corrections to your image locally. The great advantage of masks in Photoshop is that you can draw them anywhere. Now, let's talk about the disadvantages. The first drawback is also an advantage. Yes, you can draw masks anywhere, but you need to do it manually, either by using a brush or using the selection tools. Creating a mask requires time and skill. Of course, you can use the Image Apply Image command and build a mask based on some image channel, but the choice is small here. And this is the second drawback. You will be able to use only a few channels of the image to use as the mask. If you need channels of other color spaces, for example channels A and B from the lab color model, you will first have to convert your image into this color model. The third drawback also arises from the main advantage. The mask is attached to the coordinates of the image itself, or the coordinates of the canvas. Meaning that if the layer under the mask moves, then the mask will need to be adjusted again. If you are processing a series of pictures, you will have to make the mask for each image. You can automate the creation of the mask with action, but take a look at the disadvantage number 2. The choice of image characteristics for automated mask creation will be small. The fourth drawback is that you cannot refine the mask edge and then change it back at any time. You can only re-edit it by rolling back through the state's history. Yes, you can tick the Remember Settings checkbox, but in this case, the program will only remember the slider's position, but not the original mask. Let's say I raise the contrast. If you open the mask settings, then the same contrast value will again apply to the mask. I cannot return the mask to its original form by lowering the contrast to 0. To do this, it will be necessary to go back through the history of the action. That is, all the work that was done on the image after changing the mask, retouching for example, will be lost. You can change only the density and feather of the mask at any time. But, for example, the mask curve can be undone only through the history. Let's now switch to masks in 3D LUT Creator. I will load the image from Photoshop into the program and switch to the Mask tab. Let me remind you that the Grading Edition version doesn't have masks. The mask in 3D LUT Creator is saved in the 3D LUT and can be used for the final fine-tuning of the LUT. Therefore, just like the LUT itself, it will only depend on color of the particular pixel. So it doesn't matter where the pixel is in the image. That is, the masks in 3D LUT Creator are not tied to any particular area of the image. This is very convenient if you are processing a series of photos or videos. In order to avoid artifacts after applying the LUT with a mask on the image, it is necessary to save LUTs with a larger size. To do this, go to the Program Preferences and check the Always Save 3D LUT with size 64. And by default, it's turned on. Now I will briefly go through the interface and functions. The buttons for setting the mask are on the left. On the right, there is a window with a histogram and a mask curve. This button resets the mask. The Preview button turns on the mask preview. Next, in the drop-down list, the type of mask is selected. As you can see, there are quite a few of them here. I note that in 3D LUT Creator, The original unprocessed image is taken as the basis for the construction of the mask. The invert button inverts the mask. Next comes randomize, which can be useful if you want to experiment. In the mask method drop-down list, the mixing the original source image and the processed one is selected. The mask destination drop-down list selects which program tools the mask will be applied to. The choice is immediately displayed on the flowchart below, which is very convenient. The principle of creating a mask in 3D LUT Creator is similar to that of the qualifier tool in DaVinci. In the mask window, the horizontal axis represents the chosen characteristic of the color. In this case, it's luminance. Histogram shows the number of image pixels with the corresponding characteristic. In general, everything is usual as on all histograms. The background shows the gradient of the selected characteristic. It is very convenient. For example, now it is seen that there are dark shades on the left and light ones on the right. Now I will make the image colder. To do this, I will first desaturate it. On the A/B tab, I reduce the saturation. And now on the Curves tab using color rings, I'll make the image colder. Now I switch to the Mask tab and show how the mask curve works. The mask curve sets the mask density level. If the curve is at the top, then the mask is white. That is, you can say that it is turned off. And if at the bottom, the mask will be black. In this case, LUT will not be fully applied to the image. The slope of the mask curve determines the smoothness of the mask transition. Now I'll turn off the mask preview and you can see what happened with the image. To enable or disable the preview of the mask from the keyboard, I use the / key. Let me remind you that the # key is used to switch before and after. So by default, mask is based on lightness. In this case, the mask reduces the effect of LUT on the light areas of the image. That's how the picture looks without a mask, and here is after. I need to remove the cold shade from the skin. The mask by lightness is not suitable for this. I will choose a mask by saturation. Here it is possible to lower the influence of LUT on highly saturated colors, and on the neutrals, which are here, we will leave it. The neutrals are painted, but the background behind the girl is not. We can make it look even better. So let's move on to triple masks. Triple mask allows you to select colors based on 3 characteristics: hue, saturation, and lightness. After selecting a triple mask, you can click on the image and add the desired colors to the mask with the Shift key pressed. Now I want to highlight the skin and then invert the mask. The mask is ready. Now I'm inverting it. That's what we got. I will open the analyzer window, and on the color circle I will check the quality of the color transitions. Here the mask is turned off, and now it is turned on. Try to make sure that the border of the color that gets into the mask is blurred. Otherwise, the mask will be too sharp, and artifacts may appear. I'll magnify the image and finish the mask. First, I'll remove the blue spots on the chest by making the hue selection wider. Secondly, we do not have fully saturated colors in the mask, so the saturation curve on the right can be reset, and on the contrary, on the left. I will make the transition to unsaturated colors smoother. Thus, when we move the mask to neutral, we avoid artifacts. At the same time, LUT will be more universal. That is, it will work well on other images. A blue shade appeared on the lips. I'll remove it on the hue mask. I will smooth the mask transition to lights. I will remove the mask in the shadows. Here is what we got. And now look at the borders of the mask, which we got on the analyzer. They became much smoother. In 3D LUT Creator, you can convert the color wheel to a plane. This can be done through the menu. Moving up and down the mouse with the right button pressed can adjust the lightness. Also, in 3D LUT Creator, you can configure the analyzer's window so that they display only what is inside the mask. To do this, click the Inside button. By clicking on Outside, as you already guessed, the analyzers will only display what is not in the mask. To go to the original view, click on the Full button. Here is the grading we got. Suppose we need to further work on the skin. Color circles and mask are already used for the background correction. What to do in this case? You can choose Compile 3D LUT, load it as an external LUT, and reset. Our LUT is at the beginning of the processing order. Since I will paint the skin with color circles and then apply the mask only to the skin, I need to select the All Except External LUT option from the Mask Destination drop-down list. Now it is possible to paint the skin with the help of color circles on the Curves tab. Now I painted the dress and the skin. This is very noticeable in the highlights. Now I'll make a mask for the skin. I will turn on the preview and I'll click on the image in those places I want to repaint. This is how the image looks without a mask. Pay attention to the dress. And that is how it looks with the mask. The mask again has sharp edges, so I'll smooth it again, increasing the slope of the mask curves. Here is what we got. I see blue spots on the neck again, which are obviously caused by the action of LUT, using which I painted the background. But this LUT is loaded now as external. How can I change it? To do this, I again swap the current and external LUT. In order to avoid influence of the LUT, which works with the skin, I turn it off. And now I'll smooth the borders of the mask according to the shade to remove spots on the skin. Done. Now I will turn on the external LUT and change it with the current one. By doing so, you can edit the LUTs that are in the external LUT section. Here is what we got. I will send this LUT to Photoshop. This is the before and the after. I will now load another image into the program and see how my LUT will work with it. This is the before, and that is the after. One more picture, before and after. The same can be done in Photoshop. I'll load a new image, place it under the layer with the LUT, and see how the LUT works with it. Here is before and after. The action of LUT is tied only to the particular color, so I can move the image as I wish under the layer with LUT. That's all. I will attach the link for the created LUT under the video. Those who have 3D LUT Creator can load it to the program as a preset and change it themselves. For those who don't have 3D LUT Creator, maybe it's time to think about buying it. This is not the last tutorial about masks, so stay tuned for news. Bye-bye!